Go. The problem is we got to switch.
Great. Yeah, a lot going on.
Okay, guys. Hello. Welcome to the Peninsula. It's good to see everyone. Everyone have a great Thanksgiving? Yeah. Had a good time? I did too. I had a great trip right before then. I'll just share with you. I went to, let's see where did I go. I went to Berlin, Germany, Poland. I went to Denmark. It was awesome. Then came back and saw my relatives for Thanksgiving. I always say it's great to see headlights, better to see taillights after they go. So we're going to talk today about farming, okay? And you've heard the term before, you have to list to last. I say you have to farm to list, okay? Farming is a great way to get a listing. Heather, if you could jump to the next slide, you can jump again. We don't need to see me. Okay.
Real estate farming is a valuable marketing strategy that involves planting, nurturing, and cultivating real estate leads that grow into future business.
Right. So that's where you get farming from when it comes to real estate, right? You're planting the seeds using mailboxes of a community, okay? And hopefully those seeds will grow into clouds. That's what farming is all about. How did I start farming? It's great to farm in the community you live in if the community is big enough. I would say pick a community that has at least 250 homes in it. Okay, the community I live had 1,000 homes in it. It's called Skybrook Golf Course Community. And when I got into real estate, okay, I didn't do too hot the first 6 months. I sold one property the first 6 months, and it was through a friend. So it almost didn't count. So I have a friend today. She's sitting right here, Juliana Hall. Okay, she sold 5 houses her first year. She just completed her first year. And she's a little hard on herself, saying, I need to do better. By the way, guys, if you're new here, you sell 5 houses your first year, you're doing great. Okay? That means next year you're probably going to sell 8 and the year after 12. And then guess what? Now you just made it as a realtor. Doesn't happen overnight. Okay? So Jules, great job, keep it up. Okay. So I was kind of like Jules, saying, like, I have to do better here. I just sold 1 piece of land in 6 months. What am I doing? So someone told me about farming. So at first I didn't want to spend the money with like postcards. So I went to a local print shop called Quick Copy here, and I got, which I'll pass out to you guys later, some flyers made up. So it was a flyer of me, and on the other side of a market update, okay? It was just this, flimsy piece of paper. And I said, I need 1,000 of them made up. And at the time, I didn't want to pay someone to hand these out. So I started putting those in those round cylinders under the mailboxes. I started one day at 2 o'clock and realized it's not a good time, so all the buses come through the neighborhood.
Trash day's bad also.
And you're driving the wrong side of the neighborhood, the road, right? Because you have to be left. So then I decided, okay, I'll go out at 10 o'clock at night, right? And it was a great time to just catch up with family members or college friends. I'm on the phone from like 10 to midnight, and I get 1,000 of these put out. Then after that, I get to be friends with the golf pro, and I could use one of his golf carts, make life a little easier, do it quicker and faster. And then I started selling houses, and then I started hiring people to put these out for me. And then I decided to up it, and I talked to my friend Dave Henderson, who you're going to hear from in a little bit, and started doing fancy postcards. So I farm still to this day, it's been 12 years in Skybrook. This goes out once a month, then 2 weeks later, Dave mails out a really nice glossy, this size postcard, double-sided to people. So yes, I hit them twice a month. But in that community, I average about 17 homes a year in, year out. Okay, an average sale there is close to $500,000. So it really is setting my career off in a good path with farming. Heather, can you go to the next slide? We can go again. So that's Skybrook. So here's the example I just held up, right? So once you get going, you can do a brochure or a flyer, and here's all the homes I sold. And I always just keep rotating the last 5 or 6 homes I sold. And in this market, it's kind of cool because sold 1 day, sold 8 days, sold 3 days, 2 days, 3 days, 1 day, right? Because it's a hot market. So it makes me look really good. Now it's just a hot market. I have a listing presentation tomorrow. And I said, how'd you hear from you? We got your flyer, okay? I will tell you 9 out of 10 times when I get a listing Skybrook, it's because of this. It's just, they just see it over and over. To be successful in farming, guys, it's all about repetition, okay? I remember I had one of my buddies in here, I won't mention his full name, DJ, and I won't say his last name. He's a great guy, I like him a lot. And I had him at one of these events and I said, DJ, how's farming going? And he's like, not great, you know, I stopped doing it. And I said, how long have you done it for? He was 3 months. Okay, I farmed a year before I got a phone call. Okay, it's just one of those things you have to commit to. One of my best friends, Heidi Hines, she farmed just like I did. And she farms a community called Highland Creek, which is right across the street from Skybrook. Okay, she sells a ton in Highland Creek, and she's been doing it for 20 years. Okay, so you get into farming, you have to do it repetitively. Now, you're just going into it, you're not going to be able to put, look what I sold, look at all the houses I sell, right? So it's okay, do something else. Like on the back of here, I'll read it for you. Think about selling your house, benefit from my experience, contact me for a free virtual comparative market analysis, okay? I started doing this when COVID hit because people didn't want me at their house. So I said, listen, I know we'll probably listen 3 months, but grab a glass of wine, and tomorrow night, we'll do a CMA right over the computer on a Zoom call. So you can be brand new, like this gentleman right here is just getting his license. You can be creative and put whatever you want on one side, some kind of value add, okay? Especially like, I'll come over and tell you what your house is worth for free. And then the other side, just do a market update. These are not all the homes I sold. These are all the homes I sold in the last month of Skybrook. And people love looking at it, and they can say, oh, look, that's the same house I have. It's down the street. It's the Smith's house, and it's sold for $650. So my house must be worth $650, or my house is nicer, it's worth more. So it really keeps them up to date. Okay, Heather, if you can go to the next slide. Okay, so now I'm going to just share some fun things with you. Okay. So with David, we've done a bunch of different postcards to mix it up. This one right here says, relax and leave the selling to me. Go to the next one. Guaranteed to sell your home in 59 days or less, or we'll sell it for free. You know, cut your commission if you want to do that. Next one. I came, I saw, I sold your neighbor's house. Yeah, something fun, right? It's corny, but it works. People remember it. I like this one. I have OCD, obsessive closing disorder. Yeah, is that pretty good? And that's not me, that's all David. Okay. Top things to do when selling your house. Number 1, talk to me. I'll handle the other than that. So it's nice to mix it up, and people will see it, they'll laugh at it. I think it's corny. If I think it's stupid, it doesn't matter. There's no such thing as bad marketing, bad advertising. As long as they see your face a lot, you're good. That's the most important thing. Just, I don't care if they don't like you. There's no space again, and throw it in the trash. It doesn't matter. Okay, it's just repetitively seeing your face. Okay, here is another one. You can send this out to anyone, any of the people, residents in the neighborhood, just introducing yourself. This is great for a brand new realtor. If you do that, I would suggest on the other side of it, do the market update. Okay, it's nice that you can do like, hey, I'm new to real estate, or hey, welcome to the neighborhood, you're new, I'm a local realtor, I do a lot of business here, okay? Always a market update. It will be nice that they see this, they won't read 90% of it. They'll see your realtor, they might flip it over, they're always looking for the market update. But David has a great template for this, okay? And it's a great way to get your name out when you first start marketing a community. And I'm gonna hand this example out to you guys, and I can email you a ton more examples. Heather has farming templates that she can share with you. Write down her information. Okay, and I'm gonna share a few things with you. When you pick out a community, make sure there's at least 250 homes, and then do a search, okay? When you're in MLS, when you're in Matrix, do a search for the whole year. Find out how many houses close in that community, okay? Cassie, if 6 houses close in that community, do you want to farm that community?
Probably not.
Probably not. If 40 sold in that community, or 50, is that a community that qualifies?
Yes.
Yes. And I'll tell you something else. There's some communities that are kind of owned by realtors. Okay, you might not want to compete with them. Heidi Hines sells a ton of houses over in Highland Creek. You might not want to go to head with her, right? Because she sold like 600,000 homes, whatever there. You know, there's certain communities, if you do a search and you pull up like Lexington and 50 houses were sold by, 40 different agents, that's a great community to get into. But if 50 houses were sold and 30 by one agent, you might want to look for a different community. So be selective when you're doing your research on that, okay? I'm gonna talk about sponsorship real quick before we bring Kathy in here. Go
I'm
ahead.
just gonna say, another great tip that I have learned is that if you pick a neighborhood that's relatively new, maybe it's just starting to finish out the construction phase, getting towards the end, that's perfect for farming, because a lot of those owners don't have a realtor. They may have just bought directly from the builder, and in a few years, they're gonna turn over.
Yeah, absolutely. Also, when you go for a listing presentation, and if you're farming that neighborhood, you have a bunch of marketing material that you can bring. Okay, so when I sit down with a listing presentation, like I have a bunch of these postcards, I bring them. Also, sponsorship is a great way, it's a good compliment to farming. So here's something that I give away. It's just a little backpack that a little kid would have, go to soccer game, and I'll bring this tomorrow. Water bottle, Skybrook, where they live, and on the back, it's branded to me, right? This is one of the best ones ever. Thermos. I would go up to the Skybrook pool or soccer games, and I would see these after a while. So this is pretty cool. It's my thermos. And these are cheap, guys. Believe it or not, these are $5 a piece. And then just other cheap stuff, koozie.
Yeah.
These nice cups, we're good.
Yeah, particular company you use for your little giveaway?
Do I what?
Have a company you use for your little giveaway?
Yeah, it's right here, Cornelius, actually. Yeah, it's a local company. So this is just some of the stuff that I'll drop off. And when I go on my listing presentation, why do I do it? No other realtor probably will come in and give them some kind of gift. And it's gonna be there no matter what when I leave. And it might sit on their kitchen island.